Go big or go home.
Good morning. Are we morning people? We're recording this the earliest that we've ever done it. Welcome into another week of Big Ten conference play. If you're new here, this is Go Big
or Go Home.
Okay, where we just talk Big Ten basketball, men's and women's. I'm Zora Stephenson. She's Meghan McKeown, the Northwestern alum. She's got a big homecoming this week. Very excited for you, Meghan. Robbie Hummel is one of the Purdue greats. Meghan, before we even get started, going back home, well, you have multiple homes, but one of your homes, Chicago, and back to your alma mater. Any thoughts about that? Meghan is going to be calling the Northwestern Iowa game this week.
I know, with Zora, so it's going to be a good time. No, it's always good to go back to Evanston. I actually am making a list for something else about my top favorite Big Ten cities to go to, and I mean, obviously this one ranks at the top of the list. I'm just excited to go to my favorite restaurants when I'm in town, and to get my hair done. That'll be big.
The big to-do list there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we start this one with some opinions. I'm not used to giving opinions. I do play-by-play. I do reporting. I know I played, but is this the angst you all feel when you have to put in votes? It's so hard. So I'll go first because mine will be relatively quick. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to give our so far Big Ten Player of the Year, Sixth Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year up to this point. Big Ten Player of the Year, Meghan, I think we're going to agree on this one. Caitlin Clark leads the conference in scoring, assists, threes per game. Iowa is 19-2 right now. I mean, how can you beat that, right? And she's got an opportunity to become the number one scoring leader in NCAA history on the women's side. And she has the chance to do it outright, depending on how long she continues to play. Sixth Player of the Year. This one took me a minute. I'm going to go Sydney Falter.
Yeah.
Were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, that's mine too.
Okay. Great minds think alike. Mm-hmm. More than 6 rebounds off the bench. And just her impact on the game that goes beyond the box score. I'm just really impressed with what she's able to do. Freshman of the Year, I have blank. So I'm really interested to see where Meghan goes with this. Coach of the Year, I'm between two. Robin Freilich and what she's able to do in Michigan State in her first season, and then Carolyn Keeger at Penn State. So those are my two right now that I kind of have going back and forth. I mean, and we're just talking about this last weekend. Michigan State beats Michigan. I know that's a big rivalry. And then Penn State over Maryland. And both of these games were blowouts.
40-point almost, yeah.
So that's what I have on my list. So now that Meghan, you go next, and then Robbie will get you on the backside.
My Player of the Year, Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is no surprise. She'll likely be National Player of the Year. 32 points a game now, I think, after this weekend's performance. She's about 2 weeks away from breaking the all-time scoring record in women's college basketball. And I think she's about a month away from potentially breaking Pete Maravich's record, which is insane. So that's kind of a no-brainer in the terms of midseason awards and what will likely happen in the next month or so. Sixth Woman of the Year, also going with Sydney Falter for Iowa. I was not high on Iowa coming into the season at all because they lost so much, but yet they're almost in better shape at this point now than they were at this point a season ago, which is crazy to think. But Sydney Falter coming off the bench, bringing that boost. She literally spends most of her time on the floor because she's diving everywhere, trying to create second chance opportunities, getting loose balls. I love her effort on the boards. She does so many little things that don't show up in the stat sheet that are massive when it comes to winning ball games. Coach of the Year, I'm actually between two as well, but my two are Robin Freilich from Michigan and Dawn Plitzawhite from Minnesota. Both first-year head coaches, both have done really great jobs early on with what we thought weren't a ton on their rosters, but they've really kind of shown that there is a lot of talent on both of those rosters, and they've won some big games so far this season. So I'm curious to see how they kind of continue to lead over the course of the month of February. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I would go with Sarah Williams right now from Wisconsin and her ability. I know you and I had that Iowa-Wisconsin game, Zora. Williams' ability to time up her blocks has been much improved from a season ago. She's doing a better job of defending without fouling and just being in the right position down low. Did I miss anything else?
No, that was it. I had a question on mine, defensive player of the year. I had Sarah Williams as well. And then I had somebody from Ohio State, question mark.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just because anytime you are calling an Ohio State game, you are constantly asking the opponent how you're going to deal with their defense, specifically the press. So I don't know if you can give it to a whole team, but that's the other thing I had. Sarah Williams / somebody from Ohio State. So Robbie,
all right,
fill us in.
Yeah, I think the player of the year is pretty easy. It's going to be Zach Edey again. He's a walking 23 and 12 every time he takes the floor. He just went over 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds, which puts him in pretty rare air. He's going to be the national player of the year again. He's definitely going to be the Big Ten player of the year again. He is having another outstanding year. And I think the impressive thing about what Zach Edey has done is that I feel like he's better this year than he was last season. Sixth man of the year, a little bit. This is always a tough one. I think I'm going to go CJ Wilcher at Nebraska. He's been really impactful off the bench for the Cornhuskers. He's shooting it way better like he did 2 years ago. I've got Nick Martinelli in that category. I think Mason Gillis would have to be in that discussion. John Blackwell out of Wisconsin as well. Let's see. Defensive player of the year. I'm going to go Ace Baldwin. The way that he takes the ball from other teams is pretty impressive. He's had games of like 8 steals. He leads the Big Ten in steals by a wide margin. Penn State certainly has brought a different style of play this year to the Big Ten Conference. So I'm going to go with him, even though I think Cliff Amore, I think Zach Edey is in that conversation as well. Coleman Hawkins has gotten himself into the defensive, I think the all-defensive team conversation, as his Chucky Hepburn / Max Klesmit from Wisconsin. Freshman of the year, I'm going Owen Freeman from Iowa. He's like the 5 or 6 time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. I think Mackenzie Mbako would be considered for that. I also think John Blackwell out of Wisconsin has had a really good freshman year. And then my Big Ten Coach of the Year, I'm going to go Greg Gard. I think Greg Gard has done a phenomenal job with this Wisconsin Badger team. They're currently in first place. Matt Painter would be in that discussion. Chris Collins, Fred Hoiberg as well. I think Brad Underwood would get thrown in there with kind of how he's handled some adversity with his roster this year, not having Terrence Shannon for his suspension and still keeping that team afloat. So I'll go with Gard, but those are my midseason picks.
Robbie, did you just name half the conference?
Yeah. But the thing is, at the midway point, so much can still happen. So
no, you're right.
I do feel like you need to give some context.
No, I joke, but that's how you have to do it. Are we in the dog days right now?
Oh my God, yes.
But like, it's really important, specifically when you're in a conference. Like, I played mid-major, so you could do amazingly well during conference play, right? Win the regular season, but you got to win the conference tournament if you want to go to the NCAA, right? In a conference like the Big Ten, you've got to win these conference games because then you could get an at-large bid, even if you don't win the conference tournament, right? So how do you think coaches are explaining that and reiterating the importance of every single game thus far, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely talked about. I remember when I was playing, you'd get into February and you're like, man, can we please just get to the Big Ten tournament? Because for whatever reason, the Big Ten tournament has a much different feel. There's bids being given out all around the country. There's a real excitement about Selection Sunday being just around the corner. And I always felt like once we got into March, and maybe my birthday is March 8th too. So I always was like, yes, my birthday's coming up. There's a different feel. And even I remember there being games where we would play in West Lafayette and it would be a little bit warmer. You might have that random March, like 55-degree day. And just the feel of the like warming up, you felt better. It was warmer in the gym. Like, it's hard to explain, but there is a real grind of February, and it's freezing cold. The weather is not great. You know that these games are really important because, like you said, Zora, you're trying to make your way to get that at-large bid and better your seating. But there's some real grinder times here coming. So Coaches are on the players. The players have got to be mature about it. It's not an easy thing to deal with, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. February is a short month, and hopefully all of our teams can find their way through this thing.
That's a great point. Go ahead, Meghan.
Robbie, I'm cracking up because 2 years ago I was at Maryland in February, and it was one of those 50-degree days, and I was walking outside. I had a physical reaction, the feelings of wait, this is it's like in high school or even when you're in college and the season's kind of on that grind, and you're like, wait, are we in spring? It's coming. You have this weird feeling. So that's funny that you say that. I can relate to that. Everybody hurts right now. Your body, you're tired, you're beat up. Everyone's kind of you're not sick of each other necessarily, but you're just you're in this routine together, but you're tired. And I tell you what, February changes the trajectory of people's seasons. It's a very much a make or break time of year. You've already kind of gone through your first half of Big Ten play. So people have opinions about your role as a player, you as a team, where you fit within the conference standards. And I've seen teams, I think about Northwestern in 2016, won every single game in February and ended up as a 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament and got a double bye. And that's what's so important over the course of the next couple of days. I don't know the statistics on it, but I'm pretty sure nobody who's ever played on the first day of the Big Ten tournament has ever gone on to win it. So you have to do a good job of positioning yourself to get that bye game or a double bye if you can. So that battle for the top 4 spots is going to be huge moving forward. You're in the dog days though. You're tired. You're sick of eating the same food. You're sick of having to go to treatment every single freaking day at the same time. So you have to find a way to motivate each other to kind of get through this time.
I will say too, before we move on, the ice bath is your friend at this time of the year. The ice bath is your friend.
Listen to the trainer, especially the first years. You don't think you need it? Use it.
Yeah.
Everything hurts. Your body, you'll just lay down at night and sleep, and your body just is aching. It's crazy.
Yeah. And that's how we feel too. If we just do one workout, right? We just start to ache.
Yeah.
Okay. We always end with something fun, right? We're recording this in the morning, so we thought we'd do our ultimate breakfast. If you've got any local spots along the Big Ten trails here that you like to go, or even where you live, and what's included in that breakfast. I will start to give you all some time to think. I'm on a celery juice trend right now. Meghan, I haven't told you about this. But I got a juicer for Christmas, and so I've been making celery juice. So celery juice for my kitchen. Tea from Starbeezy, aka Starbucks. I love all the liquids. And then food, pancakes, eggs, potatoes, and then I like to get a matcha latte to go. We were at that Purdue hotel, the college, the hotel that's on campus.
The Union.
Yes. The coffee shop there might have been top tier.
They've done a good job with that hotel because we had to stay there when I was playing, and we hated staying there. But they've redone it. They've redone the Union, and they've made it really, really nice. So it's comical to me that I've stayed there for every Purdue game, and we used to hate staying there.
Wow. And now it's one of my favorites.
It's a great hotel now. Yes. It's
and a student told me about going in the basement to where all the students it's like a big food court, pretty much. Food court. Yeah. So I was walking around like I was a student. So I actually really liked, the Purdue trip. So anything from the Union.
Okay.
That's Robbie.
So I'm not going to give restaurants, I guess. I'm going to give more foods. I love fresh squeezed orange juice, and I always have, which is very weird, but I really, really like fresh squeezed orange juice. And can certainly tell the difference if you say it's fresh squeezed and it's not versus if it is. So I'd like a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm a big omelet guy. I really like omelets. So I don't like cheese on them, but I usually like ham, green pepper, or red pepper and onion. So I want an omelet like
Denver
that.
omelet guy.
Yeah, Denver omelet for sure. And then I'm not a huge sweets for breakfast person, but if I'm indulging, I'll go with some chocolate chip pancakes, and that would be great.
If anybody is ever going to Northwestern game, Walker Brothers Pancake House is the best breakfast you will ever have in your life. The pancakes are elite. as is in the title of the restaurant, the bacon is like nothing you've ever had in your life. It's fabulous. I'll just say like what my current breakfast obsession is right now, and it's the feta eggs, which like you see all over TikTok. Take the pan, sprinkle some feta down, let the feta melt a little bit, crack an egg. I do a little garlic powder, a little red pepper flakes. I like it spicy. And I just had it this morning. It was delish. And I'm a big
egg.
It's a feta egg.
Right, but do you scramble the
No,
egg?
no, you don't scramble. You just crack it, and then I put like a lid on it to
up.
kind of steam it. I'm trying to master getting a runny yolk because I really do like a runny egg, but I need the white to be fully cooked. I have yet to get the runny consistency I'm looking for. I'm about a week into this trend. I think
covering it will help you though, right?
Right.
Like
I keep
covering
getting a
it
jammy texture. I'm waiting too long because
Yeah.
I get distracted doing other things while so it's a me problem. But it's delicious. Highly recommend. And then I'm a big flavored brewed coffee girl. I don't want regular coffee with syrup in it. That's nasty. I have like my snickerdoodle flavored ground coffee that I put in my coffee maker, and it is chef's kiss. So that's where I am.
We're not judging you.
Listen, celery juice. I mean, you are.
You're right.
You've been watching too much Housewives, girl.
Fair. I appreciate you all. I may have to try the pancake house. If shoot around's on at like 9 a.m. Okay. Guys, another week of Big Ten basketball. Appreciate you all.
Go big or go home.